question, about 15 minutes. I don't know if we'll be able to get to everybody, but we'll do the best we can. We'll start with Austin here in the front.
Jim, you've talked and we've asked a lot about the adjustments that you've made and the changes you've tried to make when you looked at the end of last season. Is it difficult now as you go into this game to think, well, is there any part of you that's like, maybe I made good calls and some other factors were at play that kept those from working?
No. We have to be focused on what's happening right now, the things that are in our control and, lack of ego and being selfless. I mean, a lot of that applies to whatever happened, you know what I mean? That's not going to help us. What's going to help us, my freshman history teacher, Father Vincent Taggart, SJ. But he started, first time as a freshman, those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it, But then, then he also used to say, he said, well, you got to live in the present moment, Highest form of sanity is live in the present moment. So I think what I don't know if you ever figure it out in life, but that those things that happened in the past, you have coaches, you have mentors, and I need to figure all that out and process that and determine what's important to then pass on to the team, because they don't need to be worried about any of that. They got to play hard, they got to play tough, they got to play fast. So they don't really need to be worried about that. I mean, I can think about that, ruminate on that, and go through all the things in the off season. But ultimately, we're better right now because of it. So we got to stick with that.
Front row, Bill Rabinowitz.
We've talked before about all the philosophical changes you made, largely in preparation for this game. How excited, anxious, eager are you to see it really put to the test? Because it really hasn't been too much this year against the competition you played.
Yeah, I mean, the main reason our players or coaches or our people who run the cafeteria, because you want to be the best and you want to compete against the best and you want to challenge yourself, to see how you stack up. So yeah, I mean, you do things, they take a long time. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Ultimately, it's all to give the players the best chance to win right now at the Ohio State in this game. It all kind of points right to there. And you just have to perform. You got to be tough. You got to be physical. You got to be fast. You can't be thinking too much. That's where all the fundamentals and all the development of the scheme really comes into play.
Second row, Bill Landis.
Jim, what is the challenge, I guess, for lack of a better word, of defending the run when a team's going to throw like an 8 or 9 man surface at you and you got to cover all that ground without kind of getting too thinned out and then not having anything behind the
it's a big challenge. It's unusual. Everybody has to understand the scheme and the gap fits, and there's an exactness that comes with it that I think a lot of people don't understand, that I think you men and women do, because I'm not just blowing your horn, but men and women do a great job here of really technically knowing the game. But you're right. I mean, there's a lot of gaps. All of a sudden, there's a lot of different gaps, and their running backs are talented, and their offensive line is talented, and so there really is an exactness and a preciseness that our players need to understand, and that's my job. My job is to get them to understand by Saturday and be able to do it fast.
Third row on the aisle, Dylan.
Your players have talked a lot about confidence and how much that's made a difference in how they've played this year. I guess, where is that confidence level now compared to what it was last year? I guess, how does that personify in a person on the field, confidence? What does that mean for a guy to be able to play with confidence, and how that translates to success?
Yeah, I can't really comment on last year. But I can tell you what I see right now, and I think to me, confidence is playing fast, and that competitive excellence, which is like win the moment, like be at the right place at the right time, playing fast with a bad attitude. You know, when you watch it, you know, you can see it. And I think everybody can, and that's what we've really honed on as a defense is let's be a defense that everybody can watch, and even if they don't know the exactness or the preciseness of the game, they can see people playing fast and showing up in the right places, and that gives everybody confidence. You know, so our confidence then I think spills over to the team and the fan base and whoever, you know, you feel like you're going to be okay no matter what happens.
Center field, Tony Gerdeman.
Jim, you may have answered this with Bill's question, but what is your biggest concern facing this Michigan offense?
Well, it's hard to pinpoint, you know, because the running game is multiple because of all the different formations. They do a great job of hiding their formations and their intent. And the offensive line is as good as we faced, and the backs are really good. So I think when you look in the history of this game, it starts there. You know, you have to do that. So then I think the balance becomes, okay, how do you prevent the explosive plays on the back end with not overcommitting to this and leaving yourself exposed here? So that's the real balancing act.
Front row, Dave Biddle.
Mike Hall said yesterday that he's going to be ready for the game. Your defensive tackle's been playing really well. If Mike is able to play, what would that do for you guys?
Mike's a great player. He plays with great energy and great enthusiasm. I think he lifts everybody up around him. And yes, I've been saying it all year. So he helps us, not just using up blocks, because I'm saying all year our defensive tackles have actually been making tackles. And when you have defensive tackles that make tackles, it helps the whole defense.
Third row center, Dan Hope.
Jim, obviously last year, there was a problem with, this big plays through the air, breakdowns in the secondary. How much more prepared do you feel like this secondary is this year to handle situations where they might be one-on-one and it comes down to them to prevent a big play?
I think it started last spring. Like I said, we're competing against our offense. Some of the best receivers, the best receiver in the country. And, our guys, forget about the scheme. That's not their issue. That's my issue. But they played with a more competitive nature, all spring, all camp. And you can't just turn it on for this game. It's just something, like you said, that's grown, and you see them competing for more balls and playing close to receivers, challenging routes. Yeah, that makes me confident, but that really makes the rest of the team confident, and that's what's important.
Second row center, Stephen.
This seems like the type of game with the way Michigan runs its offense, where the decision to put Sonny at the nickel at the beginning of the year might have like some major payoff here, but that's also in the world before like the ransom got hurt. Assuming Lathan can't play on Saturday, how does this opponent make you have to think about how you're going to use Sonny? I guess
Absolutely. I mean, you have to. Yeah, we would love to have Lathan. That certainly allows us to do different things with Sonny, and without that, we still have to do different things with Sonny, but you can be less focused. Yeah, Sonny has got to be spread around in different locations, because we think he can make a lot of plays.
Fourth row middle, Patrick Murphy.
Jim, at what point did you really feel like you started to grasp this rivalry? I know you hear about it all year leading up to last year. Was it after the game? I mean, when did it really click for you what this meant outside of just a rivalry game?
Yeah, I think when you live through it and you feel the disappointment and you take that personally, not personally like you get angry, but personally like you don't want to let anybody down. You don't want to let the fans down. Most importantly, you don't want to let our players down. So you see how they feel, and you just want to do better.
Far left, Joe Nugent, WCNH.
What stands out about Michigan's commitment to running the game, running the ball, and 32 straight carries against Penn State? What do you see there?
I mean, that just shows me they have great confidence in their running game. They have great confidence in their defense, right? I mean, a team that's willing to do that is willing to play the long game, the four-quarter game, and trust their defense and their offensive line and running backs. And, that shows me that we better be ready to slug it out for 4+ quarters or whatever it takes.
Last week against Minnesota and a lot of 12 personnel looks, you were putting Jihad at strong safety bandit and bringing Sonny back up. I guess that makes sense on paper when you look at this maybe relative size. It also means taking Jordan off the field, who's been playing so well. I guess what do you feel like is the positive trade-off there?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan has been playing well, and it's and Jordan has shown the ability to, make that decision in the running game and go attack. But it's just a question of how much do you really want him to do that? Jordan is a skilled athlete. Not that our other guys aren't, but I mean, he's not that big of a guy. So he's more than willing and capable. But you just have to balance how much do you want to do that? Just like I've said, how do you balance a quarterback, right? Is he a runner or he's a thrower? And you don't want to run him too much because he gets get beat up, and then he's got to be a thrower. To me, that's the same thing you have with a nickel who's coming from corner. You know what I mean? More of a nickel corner rather than a nickel Sam, which Sonny is. So you have to balance it.
Third row right here, Rob Oliver.
X factor, J.J. McCaffrey's legs. I think he's a 4.4 40 guy. What can you do about that? I mean, do you expect him to see him run a little more? I mean, he hasn't run a lot, but in this game, maybe that's a wrinkle.
Yeah, I expect him. He's a really good runner. He ran some against us last year, and he runs from time to time when they need it. He's a competitor, so you just have to always be you have to always be ready for it, and you have to understand the types of runs that he likes, the types of scrambles he likes, and he's a really good player. So you better be aware of his ability to throw as well as run.
Right behind him, Cameron T. Robbins.
Jim, you guys have only given up one play over 40 yards to play against Burgers. That was obviously a topic of conversation all season. At what point this year did you feel like, okay, we kind of have this down? It seemed like obviously you go week to week, you don't know until you kind of do it over and over again.
Yeah, I never feel like we have it down, ever. It's a constant pursuit to defend explosive plays, and look at the one that got us. What was that? That fake sneak thing? Man, hats off to them. What a great play, But you just don't. You never know where they're going to come from. So you better be on high alert. It better be something that's a priority. It has shown to be a real factor in this game. When you study statistics, it's been a real factor. So we can never stop talking about it, defending it, practicing it.
I'll go down to the front row here, Joey Kaufman.
Jim, back in the spring, some of your DBs talking about giving up explosive plays, talked about if they would give up one in practice, they would run. And I'm sure there's a lot goes into not giving up explosive plays from scheme and stuff, but just that mentality that they had to sort of push themselves to do better in that area from just simple active conditioning. Does that have any effect, you think, their mindset coming into this year in that area?
I think after physical training, right, from Coach Mick, that like gives our guys a ticket to get into the dance. Coach Mick gets them there, and Coach Day with the way we train. But you're after that, it's mindset. It really is mindset. So you have to, if it's important to you, and you've demonstrated that this has an effect on winning, this has an effect on your career. They see it. It's on their mind. So whether they run or do push-ups or whatever, there's something that's a reminder to them that, hey, this is really important, and this is a primary focus for our defense and for you as a player. That's just it. It is a mindset.
Okay, time for two more. Doug?
I'm going to ask another version of the question I've gotten 6 times because it's talked about so much. What has the journey been like for you as a coach when you have a game like the Michigan game last year where you give up some explosive passing plays? It becomes a priority for you that passes on to the players. You guys talk about it. You execute it. It's constant. And now here you are again with an opportunity, right? What is the 365-day journey? It feels like you and your defense are just very connected in this pursuit of we're going to focus on this and not let that happen again. What's that like as a coach?
It's a long, arduous, grinding process to get here, but it's extremely rewarding, and I think that's the job of a leader is to, have a vision, like you taught, to learn from your mistakes, not have an ego, which a lot of us coaches do, so, maybe, so not have an ego, what's best, what happened, how do I fix it, have a vision of, okay, this. Now you have to communicate that. Like you got to get people to buy in, like you taught. Then you're selling it for 365 days, and you're growing it, and you're watering it, and you're feeding it, and you're nurturing it, and you're bringing it, you're showing this is good, this is not good, this is good, not good, good, not good. Why? It's we have to go out and do this. How? Okay, here are the things that we're going to do. Here are the specifics of how we're going to do this. And you sell it to them, and you motivate them, and they see it. But it's a long process, but extremely rewarding. And we have to make it pay off for us this Saturday.
We'll wrap it up right here with Tim May.
You left out pruning there. Tommy Ikenberg, how much does he want to play in this game? You were asked about it last week. Of course, like Ryan Day said, almost got into a fight about things. But what will he bring if, in fact, he's cleared and ready to play? What will he bring to this mix?
Everything. Tommy will bring every single ounce of his person to this game, and he will fight to defend our honor. That's just that kind of guy that he is. He's the kind of guy we all want on that wall.